Happy Monday and welcome to the Doom Report. So, last night I had a really good conversation with Prepper Now. So, if you guys want to go check that out, I will put a link to that down in the description. And we also had a great chat with Chance Paladin on the Zero Hour last night. So, it was a good night. So, I will put links to both of those down in the description if you want to go check those out. I would suggest it. Kuwait has declared a force majeure on oil shipments due to the new Strait of Hormuz closure. The Trump administration is going to begin refunding $166 billion in tariff money. Oh, by the way, me and you are getting exactly $0 of that. It's all going to the big corporations. Japan is going to ban local governments from using Chinese IT products. That's probably a wise decision. The Hungarian Prime Minister has said if Netanyahu lands on the country's territory after we join the Hague Tribunal, he will be arrested. Reuters has put out a statement citing that a source familiar with the matter says that U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is still in the United States and has not left for Pakistan yet. The Lebanese official source told Al Jazeera a second meeting will be held at the U.S. State Department next Thursday between Lebanon and Israel. Oil prices has jumped once again after the U.S. seizes the Iranian vessel. 8 children were unalived in a mass shooting in Shreveport, Louisiana, after father targets his family. So the report says a man killed 8 children, 7 of his own kids and 1 of their cousins, early Sunday in a mass shooting in Shreveport, Louisiana. The shooter is also dead after police pursued him and opened fire. It was the nation's deadliest shooting in more than 2 years. Japanese officials have warned of an increased risk of a huge earthquake in the next week after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck off the northeast coast, triggering evacuation orders and warning of a 3-meter tsunami. President Trump tells PBS News that lots of bombs will start going off if Iran's ceasefire expires. Prime Minister Keir Starmer says he would not have appointed Mandelson if he had known about the failed security checks. Now, this makes no sense to me. When I worked in the casino industry, man, they crawled up your parts with a microscope. I mean, they interviewed everybody you'd ever talk to make sure you were on the up and up. So, and the government can't figure this out? I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. And sticking with the UK police arrested 2 in connection of this weekend's arson attack on a synagogue. The Israeli army is launching a criminal investigation after a soldier strikes a Jesus statue in Lebanon. North Korea again tests cluster munitions in a launch observed by Kim Jong Rocket Man and his daughter. 7 people were unalived, including 6 children, in a central PA house explosion, according to police. 4 drug lab investigators die in a car crash in Mexico. Isn't that convenient? The U.S. military struck another boat in the Caribbean, unaliving 3. Epstein survivor says it's not too late to expose what happened at his New Mexico ranch. Well, no, it's not too late, but the problem is that there's no law for rich people, so it really doesn't matter, does it? A Los Angeles woman has been arrested on suspicion of helping Iran traffic weapons to Sudan. The Justice Department has made demands that Michigan County turn over its 2024 ballots. There's a video on ABC 7 that shows a hot air balloon carrying 13 people make an emergency landing in Temecula, California in someone's backyard. Actually, looks like the guy did a good job. Everybody looks safe and sound, so hey, good for him. The new Charlie Victor 19 subvariant Cicada is on the rise in California. Oil prices rise and the markets fall after U.S. seizure of ship hits Iran peace deal hopes. As of right now, the market's only down 64 points, so I don't think it's going back up. I don't think it's going to end up being a big deal after all. AST Space Mobile shares drop after its satellite is placed in the wrong orbit by Bezos' Blue Origin. Nice job. Humanoid robot wins Beijing's half marathon, defeating the human world record by more than 7 minutes. We talked a little bit about that yesterday, and we also talked a little bit about that on the 0 Hour last night. A report in the New York Times says Epstein wanted connections at Harvard, and the files show that many faculty members were happy to help. Jeez. Jacob Phelps has won his first elite Bassmaster Series at the Arkansas River. Now, what does that have to do with anything? Well, I only mention that because I actually used to fish with Jake's dad. I remember when he was born, so that's just kind of cool. The Canadian Prime Minister describes his close ties to the U.S. as weakness that we must correct. The Supreme Court is set to decide if preschools that decline children of same-sex couples can receive state funding. The risk of war in Iran reignites as Trump renews threats, and Tehran says they have no plans to attend the peace talks. Trump told Bloomberg that the ceasefire will end Wednesday evening. With recent attacks on oil infrastructure, Ukraine has cut Russia's oil exports by 880,000 barrels in one day. That is $100 million every 24 hours. China's President Xi calls for a reopening of the Strait of Hormuz and an immediate ceasefire deal in the U.S.-Iran war. Spain has urged the EU to scrap association agreement with Israel. A CNN headline says, robots don't bleed. Ukraine sends machines into the battlefield in place of human soldiers. Sounds like Skynet to me. The Lyrid meteor shower is about to peak, so go outside and check that out. NASA says interstellar space probe Voyager 1 is losing power. You know, that thing wasn't supposed to last nearly this long, so it still did a pretty good job. This is a good one. Largest U.S. study finds that teen cannabis use is linked to slower cognitive development. Well, no kidding. We knew that back in the 80s. The stoners were just kind of, the stoners. So I'd like to reiterate that we still haven't seen the effects of this thing over in the Strait of Hormuz yet. The last ships that went through there before the war started just showed up at our ports this past week. So in the next week or 2 weeks, or probably about a month, we're going to see some major economic pains heading our way. So if you need something, anything, whatever that may be, go get it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, you go out and buy a skid of freeze-dried food and then everything goes back to normal. Well, you just eat it. It's no big deal, right? Don't go to the grocery store for a month and eat all that stuff up and you'll be just fine. But listen, you better get it. You better get heating fuel. You better store gasoline if you can. It's coming, guys. I'm telling you, this is not going to get better. And we haven't felt the effects yet. And the naysayers and the normies that don't pay attention to anything are going to be in a shock here real soon. So keep prepping, keep doing the things, spend some time with your family. Happy Monday. Yeah, I got to go to work here in a little bit too. So everybody have a good day, and we will see you on the next one. Remember, those links are going to be down in the description, so check those out.